Yo, what's going on, guys? Tom for 2 here, back with a Call of Duty Black Ops 7 video. Today we're going to be doing our Black Ops 7 post-beta review and opinions. Dabbled over it during the free access week, and I just wanted to give my opinion just because Call of Duty vet, been playing since the golden age of Call of Duty, played a lot of Warzone, and thought I'd give my thoughts because Call of Duty seems to be taking a new direction and like to discuss it and see how these changes are going to come up. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you like this sort of stuff. And let's just get right into it. So, Black Ops 7, free weekend, over. Battlefield just came out. Honestly, I just right off the bat, I think I'm gonna be leaning more toward Battlefield more now. And I'll get into why, but my overall experience of the beta, it was okay. Um, I think it could have been better. And I know a lot of people are going to be gassing up the new Call of Duty because of all the changes that they're making, but I think they're rattled because of how well and received Battlefield 6 is, I guess, how well received it is. So, but the experience for Call of Duty Black Ops 7 for me, it just feels like we're all getting more accustomed to this kind of brain rot, rinse and repeat style of play. Um, where you just kind of run in there, get a few kills, die. Doesn't matter if you're getting killed from behind. Maps are very small. It's very fast paced, and there's not much thinking or like planning of any like route or path that you want to take to position yourself right. So it's mostly just people just perching up on a nice head glitch and just waiting for someone to just walk across right into your field of view and you murk them right. That just feels like the style it is these days. And that comes to my first point, which is let's talk about the maps. Well, about 75 to 80% of the time, I feel like I'm trying to rip someone off a head glitch in all my gun in a lot of those gunfights, right? And it's just not, they say they're 3-lane maps, but they really don't feel like 3-lane maps, especially when I just want to avoid the lanes where there's no way I want to chow someone who's just sitting on a heady and just waiting for someone to come in, right? Um, I don't know if it's just that's just intentionally designed that way, or if you're supposed to use the movement to maneuver around those. But they say 3-lane maps, but at least the older Call of Duty maps like Raid, even like WMD from Black Ops 1, you could always find ways to find cover and go through those lanes, right? And make progress forward instead of just having to rip someone off the gunny from across the other side of the map, right? Um, like Raid, let's just talk about the swimming pool side of the map. You at least have the little tiki hut to kind of find cover from the window, top window bedroom. You could go through like the B mid to even like flank a little bit. So there's multiple ways to like work around some of the head glitches, but these new maps, it just feels like it's just like it's for example Cortex, just that one lane across like one side of the map where if you just have a sniper or an AR or M8 just perched up there, there's no way anyone is coming to kill you unless they rip you off your heady, right? So that's the first thing. And then I don't want to talk too much about the spawns since the spawns, get talked about a lot, but it always feels like the new spawn system since they introduced in like Modern Warfare 2019 or whatever. It's just I can never predict where the spawns are coming from now. It always feels like I'm getting shot from behind or there's someone always coming from behind me now. I can't read it. It's not predictable. If you in domination, you assume you have A and B, or like kill confirmed, your entire team is like pushed up, and no one's like pushing into their spawn, but then somehow they're like spawning around like behind you, and it just doesn't make sense to me, right? So the spawns is a huge discussion point. I won't dive too much into it, but um, it just feels like the spawns could be better in a lot of the different maps. And that's just been a Call of Duty thing for a while now. That's nothing too new. Um, let's talk about weapons in TTK. So the weapons, they did feel pretty decent. I mean, from the beta at least, there was like a decent diversity of weapons. I think most people use the Dravik SMG or that really close in like weapon. I forget what it's called. I think a lot of people were using the M15 or the M8 for like their closer range. Just to make a note, that spawn right there, see what I mean? Like, you can't have somebody just looking right into your spawn from like middle of the map. Like, let's be real. But yeah, TTK I think is really too fast, and I feel like I can't even play multiplayer without having to use like a stimmy. I think stimmies should never have been in the game. Either lower the TTK, or I mean, sorry, make the TTK higher, or time to kill, or there's gotta be some sort of weapon balancing, right? Or maybe that's just an intentional thing where they want you to, quickly, murk someone and move on to the next target, right? So I have issues with the TTK and weapon balancing. That's yet to be determined until kind of the full game comes out, I think. But overall, the weapons did feel pretty nice in the beta. One big change, moving on to the next point, is the SBMM. So they did have SBMM in the beta for like the first couple days, and then they announced that they were going to make the open lobbies, open mosh pit lobbies, where there were no SBMM. Now, my opinion on this is, I think SBMM should have never been in Call of Duty, and I was a big fan of what X Defiant was doing, which is just prioritize your connection, and I don't want my experience to be predetermined for me, right? Especially and we're talking about the overall casual gamer experience, right? You just want to hop in and have a different match, you know, every single time you hop on. And it's okay if there's sweats once in a while, right? But sometimes you might get noobs. The diversity is good for the game. There's that randomness is what makes the multiplayer, right? I don't want my matches to feel the same every single game where I'm facing the same type of, difficulty every single match. And so they removed that, and boy oh boy, it was really well received. And I don't know the reasoning why, right? I could always speculate that they were probably looking at their sales numbers, or Battlefield was getting all this hype and they're looking at their own beta numbers, and they're probably thinking, oh my god, we gotta make some changes or something. I don't know if they really wanted to, but they did to make the change, and it was really well received. So I'm glad that they're taking that step, right, to get rid of SBMM from open lobbies, and we'll see what happens when the actual game comes out. But I think it's a change in the right direction, and it's about time that they actually, did something about it.
That's bullshit.
Um,
Right when I'm about to.
I will say, I think I might have mentioned it, but playing the beta, and because of the SBMM, just got no real dope from playing it. And I was talking about it with Sumzu. It's just this kind of rinse and repeat, brain rot. And I don't know what it is, right? There was just no satisfaction really from me. And I think that's just because of the way they now track like your stats. Like you get kill credit or elim credit whenever you just put like a few bullets into a guy and then some other teammate like kills them, instead of actually killing them. So I don't know if like they're just trying to inflate the stats or just make me feel better about, like 100 plus is not 100 plus from what it was back in Black Ops 2. I don't know what it is. Another change they made, aim assist. Seems like they plan to do some changes with aim assist, but aim assist is definitely really strong. Any mouse and keyboard player is going to be at a disadvantage, and we're seeing that especially in Warzone. They're moving away from it. They're going to switch over to Battlefield, and I'm a huge proponent of, supporter of trying to give mouse and keyboard players at least the same, sort of advantages and stuff. So, it is what it is, but hopefully they'll do some changes. But I know we're at the end of the video. Went over a lot of topics. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little yap. Wanted to at least get my opinions out there. Look, I'm not gonna probably dabble in the multiplayer a whole lot. Probably give it a shot. We'll see what happens. But they're making a bunch of steps in the right direction, and overall, if we're talking about the UI and all that stuff, I mean, it could be better and improved. But again, it's just a beta. Hopefully, they're getting a lot of feedback from the community and they implement some of those changes. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.